Welcome to Statistics Math 200 online for spring 2017. I am Becky Menning, your instructor for this course. And this first video is going to kind of just be your intro, your syllabus, your course calendar, how to navigate through Blackboard to make sure that you know where all your crap is. Because there's nothing worse than trying to work through a class and not know where to find things. So first things first, your course information button will have my information, my phone number, email address, Blackboard IM. If I'm in my office, I'm on that, so feel free to come check that out. Oh, that's wrong. My office is actually 109, but feel free to come visit me if you'd like. And then you'll also see that we have the syllabus and the course calendar. So looking at the syllabus first, again, you have all of my contact information. I'm going to have some open lab times. I will post those also in Blackboard so that you can come in if you want to. It'll be in a computer lab. You can come in and work, ask questions, whatever you need, so that I can help you a little bit more. Okay, so kind of going through the syllabus, feel free and please read this so that you understand everything, but I want to just get some highlights of the syllabus. So first things first, your grades, everything will be kept in Blackboard so that you know exactly where you're at. I'll try to update grades once a week. Everything is due on Sunday nights, so either Monday or Tuesday I will update the grades. If you ever think that something looks odd, you did all your homework but you got a 2% instead of a 100% wrong, let me know, right? I make mistakes. So due dates are due dates. I do not give extensions unless they are extremely warranted. So you're in the hospital, you have a baby, something like that, I will totally give you an extension. But just, I was hanging out with my friends and I forgot that we had stuff due. Not a good reason. So make sure you talk to me ahead of time if you know something's happening. Obviously, if you have an emergency, your kid gets sick, whatever, you're in the hospital for 3 days, you can't really let me know ahead of time, but communication is key there. So you get a 0 if something is late unless we've discussed it, so make sure you talk to me. Email, phone call, whatever. You need to do something by the 27th to avoid getting dropped. Please do so because you have crap due before then. We will have 2 exams in this class, a midterm and a final. Both of them need to be proctored. So if you have an Ivy Tech campus close to you, that is the easiest way to do this because, well, it's easiest for me too. There's very little paperwork that needs to be done, but you have to go somewhere. So an Ivy Tech, a different college, whatever. If you are not taking it at an Ivy Tech location, I need to know where you are taking it. So I'll communicate. We'll be talking through email a lot about that in the first week or two. If you absolutely cannot get to a campus, I do allow the use of ProctorU, which allows you to take it at home. You have to have a webcam because they will watch you take your exam. But also that does cost you, I think, like $20 or $25 per exam, and that is your cost. You will have to pay that. So again, I need to know that as well because I have to do a lot of crap if you want to take it that way, but we can work through it. So communicate with me what you want to do. Okay. Communications, I do not use course messages in Blackboard. Do not use it. You will not get a hold of me. Email me. I check my email 4 million times a day, and that is not an exaggeration. Okay, how we are going to grade this course, right? Again, there's 2 exams, a midterm and a final. They are each 20% of your grade. So your 2 exams together make up 40% of your grade. Your My Math Lab homework is 20% of your grade. I do drop the lowest grade. Your quizzes, also done in My Math Lab, are 20%, and again, I do drop the lowest grade there. We have discussion boards throughout. They are 5% of your grade, and projects, 3 projects in this course making up 15% of your total grade. At any point in time, if you have questions on things, obviously let me know, but this kind of walks through what's expected of those things. Again, there's the breakdown of your assignments, grading scale, blah, blah, blah. Don't cheat, use technology, great. My internet not working on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock is not an excuse to get an extension when your stuff is due at midnight. So do not wait till the last minute because it'll screw you. Just FYI. All right, the course calendar is also found under that course information tools. Our weeks begin on Mondays at 12:01 a.m. and end the following Sunday at 11:59. So you will see we do approximately a chapter a week, discussion board, homework, and a quiz, and you have your due date there in the right-hand column. I highly recommend you print this out and cross things off as you do them so that you don't forget what needs to be done. Start on project 1. You can see that project 1, you've got 4 weeks to do it. don't wait until week 5 to start project 1, because if you have questions, it might take 8 emails back and forth or 6 phone calls before we get things hashed out. And if you wait until that last week, not only are you trying to figure out chapter 5, but then you're working on the project and it gets a little sticky. So start on project 1, start figuring out if you have questions. We can get those answered. It's a nice relaxing process instead of trying to cram it all in 1 week. Be proactive. Because you can see as soon as project 1 is due, the next week we start project 2. So we work on that. You will notice Chapter 7 is due on March 5th. Then we have a spring break week up somewhere in there. Your next piece is not due until the 24th. So week 8 is only, well, project 2 is due, and review for the midterm. So midterm and then the midterm exam is the following week. Notice they're both due the same day. I recommend doing the review before you take the midterm. But if you want to take the midterm on March 8th and then you want to take 2 weeks off, go for it, right? The midterm will be open. This is an online class. If you want to do the entire class in 3 weeks, you can. Everything is open. Midterm, final exam are ready for you whenever you are ready for them. So it's kind of a work at your own pace, but there are due dates. So you can't just wait until the end and do it all. You can work ahead. You can't work late. Okay, same thing for the last 2 weeks. Week 15 is a final exam review week, and then the final exam being week 16. This date right here should be 5/12 for the final exam review homework. Project 3, I believe, is due on the 7th, but the final exam review, I like to make the review due the same day as the final because you should be reviewing up until you take the final. Right. So again, if you have questions on this, you need an extension because of a real circumstance, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to work with you. Okay, so that was the syllabus of the course calendar, kind of a quick run through. Now let's look at Blackboard. So I will be posting announcements, sending emails, a lot of communication that way because this is an online class. Course information, class sessions. So you can see the discussion tab. This will lead you to, obviously, the discussion boards, but you can also get to them through the class session button. So class sessions, I will be putting due dates in here. I'm just lazy and haven't gotten there yet. So looking at class sessions, so I'm going to do session 2 because that's when the first project is started. You see that everyone will have an overview and objectives, right? What's the goal of this week? And then we have the 2, I call these the big buttons. You've got your learning activities. So this is going to kind of help. How are you going to learn this material, right? You're not coming to class to listen to me preach about it, which is sad because that would be a lot of fun. But you got a textbook, so reading the textbook, some people don't get a lot out of reading it, but highlight terms, important. There's lecture notes, right, in a PDF, and there's keys, right, so this thing's video lectures. I'm pretty sure that Michael Sullivan, who's the author of the textbook, he's a super nice guy. He's not the most interesting guy in the world, but the video lectures, he is pretty good at explaining his material, so that's good. If you get to a spot where you're like, wow, I really don't understand what they're talking about, email me. I am more than happy to try to make a small video to explain something. I like break it down into real people words, which I like to think I'm decently good at. So if you need more explanation on a topic, you just have to ask and I will do whatever I can to help you out. So there's stat crunch, things to help you kind of discuss in depth more pieces here. You've got publisher PowerPoints. So those come from the textbook, from the author, working through things. So you will see it says additional chapter 2 my math lab videos. I will be making a separate video all about my math lab, and in that video I will show you how to find all of those extra videos and extra resources in my math lab to go with the course material. Okay, so that is learning activities. Now also we have 2 big buttons, right, which the other one is assignments and assessments. And here, again, see this is another direct link to the discussion board. So you can either get to the discussion board through the discussion tab or through your learning assessments. Now, chapter 2 homework, you can see here we have the StatCrunch user manual and an Excel manual. You can use either one. I am definitely more familiar with Excel, but I have used StatCrunch periodically. And if you're trying to use StatCrunch and you can't figure it out, shoot me an email. This is what I'm doing. I'm trying to use StatCrunch. If I haven't figured it out, I will work to try to figure it out so that we can talk through it. Okay. Now the homework and quiz is in My Stat Lab, so you will have to go through the My Stat Lab button, which again, separate video. And then your project 1. So I believe all 4 weeks where you're working on your project has this link so that you can get there. So your overview and rubric, what's expected, how it's going to be graded, and then the data that you need to use for the project. And obviously you got to turn it in. So anytime you have questions with this, you gotta let me know. Okay, so that's kind of the big keys of how do we get to session? There you go. That's how we got to session 5. So class sessions, check them out. You know, the week starts on Monday. I would recommend at least looking at the stuff on Monday. That way, if you do have questions, we have time in the week to get to it. I'm pretty good at responding to emails any day of the week, including weekends, but I do have a life every once in a while, and if I'm busy, then I do not respond to emails on the weekends. So just be aware that if you have questions during the week is the best time to get a hold of me. So obviously updated grades, resource button, check things out. If you need something from me, let me know. You know, we'll go from there. So this is video 1, the syllabus, course calendar, and Blackboard. Video number 2 is coming up next, which will be all about my stat lab. So great. Hope you enjoy this class because I like it. I think it's fun. Let me know how I can help you, and have a great semester. Thanks.